Whoa, hey, what's happening, folks? How you doing? Ritual Madness podcast. Welcome. It's Friday. Do me a favor, check out Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective, 3456 Minnehaha Avenue, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Contact for availability via Instagram.com/Lowbrow Saints. I was just down hanging out with Jason and the folks at Lowbrow Saints just last weekend. What a beautiful new place they have, 3456 and 58 actually, Minnehaha Avenue. Nice, huge rooms. One big room for the tattoo artist and a nice little entry area. Tons of flash on the wall. Old school tattoo style. Fantastic people down there. Check them out if you would. They're the longest sponsor of the podcast, man. Jason and I have been friends for frickin' ever. So do us a favor and check those guys out if you're looking to get some tattoo work done. Also, if you're looking for some pointy guitars and sponsored, this podcast, this studio is sponsored by the mighty Shred Den, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., 9100 85th Avenue North, Suite 100, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Give them a call, 763-350-2191, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or www.theshredden.net. Look those guys up. They got some fancy stuff. They got lessons. They've got all kinds of good stuff down there. And if you are a local band and looking to sell your wares, they actually have a good spot for your local music and merch down there too. So get over there and consign your music to the Shred Den. Again, that's fucking 9100 85th Avenue North, Suite 100, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Also, if you're looking for some design work, Narwhal Design Solutions, Justin Boney is the guy you want to talk to. Facebook, Instagram, and the World Wide Web at Narwhal Design Solutions. Justin Boney at gmail.com. If you're looking for some design, those are the cats to look for. Hey, you know what? We got some guys from far out, man. You guys are up in the. Is it cold up that way now, or what the fuck's the deal up there? What's going on, fellas? Your mic's unmuted there, or what?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. How's it going up there? What's going on, fellas?
It's cold.
Yeah, it's cold. Yeah. It's going, yeah.
You guys got any weather up that way yet? You got any snow or any? Is it windy as shit or anything?
It's been snow.
I think it's supposed to be a little later tonight. Last time I looked out the window, sun was still shining, but I think it's supposed to get pretty gnarly overnight. But
Gotcha.
Tomorrow night and Sunday, I think.
Gotcha. Hey, why don't we go through the members and tell me who you are and what you do in the band?
Okay. I'm gonna start from the left.
Sure. I'm John Rory.
Hey Vince, is there any way to like open your camera up a little bit more? I'm not getting everybody in the camera shot for some odd reason. I was before. I don't know if you moved it closer. I can't see. I can't see all of you. Did you move the camera at all?
No, I didn't.
You got John now?
See, this is great. This is how podcast. There we go. I got all of you now. There we go. You know what? We'll keep it just like that. All right, go ahead. Start with who's on the left there, which should be my right. Raise your hand first, and then say who you are.
Okay. I'm Vince. I play guitar in Boor.
Jason, drums.
I'm Mark. I do vocals and occasional drums.
I'm John. I play guitar.
Adam, nothing.
Doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
Jack shit.
Now that's not fair for the bass players. Why do the bass players always get so much shit when it comes to that situation, dude?
It's a defense mechanism, man. We're just used to it. So it's like if I shit first, you can't shit.
Right.
It's appreciation. It can't hurt me.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So tell me a little about this first tune that we just listened to. So that's Orzen. Let me see, off of the Dense Drag, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell me about that tune. What's that one about?
Well, so a lot of the songs that I've been writing for this band have to do with like existential dread, or this idea of like everything coming to nothing, you know, kind of like the end of all things. And so orison is actually another word for like it's not necessarily like a prayer. It's like something that actually like I read in a book about Native Americans. It's kind of like something to do to kind of like get one with nature. It's like this kind of meditative, you know, thing. But I just really like the word, and so I kind of went with the word, and then wrote these lyrics based on kind of this idea of like kind of the suffering of everybody in the world. You know, that we all have this kind of like suffering. It doesn't matter what level it is. There's just suffering everywhere. It's kind of like, you know, and so I end the song by saying, "This is our birthright. This is our death now," and saying like our birthright to life is suffering. You know,
Right.
So that's kind of the real push of that song. But yeah, musically, it just, I don't know, it fit when they were writing it out, and just the lyrics seem to flow with it really well. So
Awesome. It's a cool
Yeah.
premise, and obviously fits for all of the things that are going on in the world these days, man. You know, existential dread is something we probably are all thinking about right about now. You know what I'm saying?
exactly, yeah.
So how did this project come to be? Like, I know that Adam and Vince have played together in previous bands, which would be like Koboloy, and you guys are still together in Solerend as well, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
How did you guys catch up with these two cats, and how did the project get started?
So Brainerd's kind of like the city's in its own way, where everybody's in a band with everybody else. There's some level of that.
Incestuous, yeah.
Or that was the joke anyway. I think it originally came with a couple years ago. Solerend was doing a couple of dates, Fargo and up in Grand Forks, and Zach, I don't remember, Vince, was it back problems or something where he couldn't play.
Yeah, Zach had
And
some problem in that to step down for the shows.
Yep.
And then it so happened that Jay filled in for another band called Mero, in which John was the bass guitar player at that time.
Okay.
So we got recommended to talk to Jay to see if he could fill in for Solerend. And after the whole thing was done, I know Adam and I just reached out to Jay saying, "Hey, we had a good alchemy going on. We want to keep jamming with you." And I guess John had the same idea.
Well, yeah, because Jay, after he filled in Merrill for that one show, we kind of just were like, "Hey, we're both this is cool. This is a cool dude I'm talking to." So it's like, why don't we get together and do some cool dude music?
So pretty quickly after that, we had a messenger convo where everybody got to talk and try to organize a jam session.
Yeah.
And that's where I believe Adam brought in Mark, with whom he was also having a project together, saying, "Hey, I know a vocalist." And then the next Saturday night, we were getting all together at Jay just to jam without, I don't think we had any grand plans of making this a band even or anything. And then we almost wrote a song in 1 or 2 sessions, like Sawdust. It started with Jay playing the drum beat in the intro. I played some arpeggio on it. Then I believe Adam came up with the main riff on bass, and then John came up with the breakdown riff, and I came up with the melody after that. And like 2 practices in, we had a full lineup and a song written.
Yeah.
Wow,
And
that's
then
awesome.
it just snowballed from there. We just kept writing songs, and Horizon is the second one we wrote.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think that first session where that main riff came up, I think we jammed on it for like at least 20 minutes, like a half hour.
Yeah, there was a lot of jamming. But
Yep.
the cool thing to me, from my own experience from other bands, is that it just came together without really thinking about it.
Yeah.
It was all natural, and that's all we've been writing since then. At least that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Mhm.
Like John is our riff machine. He always come up with something really cool, and then it snowball from there. We jam it out, and it's just effortless. So
Hell yeah, man. That's so cool. Going into a project, just not with over expectations, you know what I'm saying, and putting that bar way up high, getting in there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've jamming with someone and having a feel for how they fit the puzzle. You know what I'm saying? That's always awesome. And then you get them worked in, and yeah, man, that sounds fantastic, man. It sounds like it came together pretty organically, pretty natural.
It's
Yeah.
very organic,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. Now, and I mentioned this before we got going. This is a question I ask everybody as far as bands go, and it kind of gives me a bearing of where you guys started musically, and kind of what was popping around in your house when you were a kid. What was mom and dad listening to? What were your brothers and sisters listening to? What were your friends listening to? And what pushed you towards the heavier side of music?
Mm.
Anybody can start.
You can go ahead and start. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm the old guy. So I got into metal when I was in middle school, and I just meeting other people were already listening to that. And at that time, it was Creator, Metallica, and the Master of Puppets and Justice for All era, and just the classic stuff like Maiden and Slayer and these other bands like that, Testaments. So they mainstream metal, but at that time that was like the thing.
Yeah.
And then so I picked up a guitar a few years later after that, and that's how I got into it.
Mm.
Yeah. Then my brother.
What type of stuff?
drums
What type of stuff were your folks listening to as a kid, man? What was in your house as a kid?
There was always some. My dad's a big fan of the Beatles, Dire Straits, some more classic rock, Led Zeppelin, The Doors. Yeah, he likes all that kind of stuff. So I always kind of like live music or music played with. I always felt an attraction to the guitar. I just always loved the sound of it. Anything with strings, but especially guitar. So,
yeah.
there wasn't too much far from that to just jump to stuff a little bit more extreme, but yeah.
Yeah, Creator, man. What a great band to throw in the mix of that early stuff, man. Especially now were you in France at that time, or when did you come?
Yeah.
When did you come over here? I always forget this. You've told me probably 3-4 times, I think.
So I moved in this country in 2005. I was 30 years old.
Okay.
So I lived like a good chunk of my life in France, and I had a band in France for 12 years with my brother. We're playing a mix of punk rock and heavy metal. So I was already quite into this and active as a local musician when I moved here.
So what? Let me ask you, what was it like starting a band and doing things? Is it much different than it is here?
Well, I'm sure everybody starts a band meeting friends in high school or in the same musical taste and just picking an instruments and hey, we can play 3 chords, we're gonna be rock stars and that sort of things. But the one thing that really struck me when I started playing in Kombucha, my first band here on this side of the planet, it seems to be much easier to find shows to play. In France, you really had, and maybe it was a time when there was less social media for it, but you really have to like call people and give flyers and really harass them almost to get a show with your band that's going to be really loud in that venue, because they don't really like that much.
Right.
In the Paris area, in the suburbs, it's easier because they want to have the kids to have something to do. But right in Paris, also small venues that don't want anything but acoustic, it's really hard to find a good place and really get a foot in there.
Oh, gotcha. So the
the
venues are few and far between, is what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I find that here, all the shows we play, I mean, sometimes it's just a stage, but a lot of venues, they have a sound system and a sound guy and all of this. And the things I've done in France, you pretty much have to bring your own. And sometimes they don't even want to have anything with amplifier. So yeah.
That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. How about
maybe Well, I don't know. That's
that too much metal. They don't want to amplify that shit too much.
Yeah. We were told not to play too loud and that sort of things, or they were forcing my brother to play on an electronic kit instead of a real drum set, and so that sucked a few times.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would have put a damper on some shit for me. I would have been like, nah, I don't think so.
My brother was pissed. That's for sure.
I bet, man. I bet. Who's next? What was going on in the house with who's next?
Me, yeah. So for me, music was never really like something that was in my house. It was something I kind of had to hide because my parents I grew up in like a super Lutheran Christian house. So everything that I was drawn to was like taken usually. So I had to kind of hide it. So I spent a lot of time just like on MTV super late, just like trying to consume kind of anything that I could find on MTV, and then I would get CDs and I would like hide them, try to not let my parents find them.
All right, so let me stop you there. Let me ask you this. So did they not like music at all, or was it just specific styles of music, or was it did they even listen to Christian music at all?
They did, yeah, but it was never something that they like sat me down and were like, "Hey, like this is like a cool band that I like," or anything like that. It was never like shown to me really. Yeah. And then they always had like the impression that like stuff that you listen to would like affect like your well-being or like and like your soul or like you go to hell or whatever.
See, these guys are laughing, man, but that's a real thing, man. Especially in super religious homes like that, man. That's something for those folks, man. Like they really believe in that possession of the body. But dude, if you guys really think about it, man, when you get into something and you're really playing, it feels like you're pulling it from the heavens anyways half the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? Like you're grabbing these grooves out of the ether like it's, you know what I mean? Like you're a fat guy at a buffet or something. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things, man. So I totally I can get it, man. So now, what kind of stuff were you falling into that you were digging like in the very beginning?
Yeah, so very beginning was probably like, you know, Deftones, Rage Against the Machine, Pantera, kind of just like anything that was on MTV at the time. Was like stuff that I would find, yeah. Like one of the first videos that I remember watching was like Deftones Shove It.
Nice.
Yeah, just like basically anything that I could find on MTV. And then if I did have like the occasional money or, you know, I was able to like put like a CD in my pocket and walk out at Walmart, I would do that. But I didn't want to get in trouble, so I wouldn't do that very often. But
sometimes the power of the riff compelled you.
Yeah, so I definitely did that a few times, but then I had to be like super secretive about it. And once, you know, I kind of got to like 15, 16, some like heavy stuff happened in my family where my parents just kind of like let me kind of do my own thing. And they were like, you know what, like life isn't worth like trying to like mold him into what we want him to be. You know, it's better that he's just happy and he's doing what makes him happy. So we'll just let him kind of do his own thing. And yeah, I first started out with music. I used to sing for bands. And I sang for a couple bands, and I just remember watching, you know, drummers play, and it looked really fun. So I kind of worked at the fair to buy my first drum set. I sold like caramel apples and like all kinds of shit, and I was able to save up like $600-700, and I bought my first drum set when I was 15.
Sweet. Dude, that's awesome.
Did you have a stash of CDs hidden under your bed with your porn collection?
No, so like
that's just my porn collection.
Yeah. Once I kind of hit like 14, 15, like my parents were like, you know, like it's not worth it to kind of like he's obviously like not gonna, like he's gonna do whatever he wants to do anyways. Like it's not worth trying to like, you know, turn him into this certain thing. So yeah.
That tug of war, man. They knew if they kept on that you were just gonna go buck wild. That's what they were doing. They were letting off on the reins a little bit, hoping and praying, Jesus, get him on that path, baby. Don't let him get.
I'm not the type of person where I can where I like if I'm doing something, like I want to do it. Like I can't do something that I don't want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the natural spirit of things, my brother. That's how that happens right there. I couldn't even imagine if they would have kept you down, dude. You'd have been a freak, dude. You'd have had all kinds of holes in your face and eyeballs,
yeah.
tattooed and shit. I bet you they didn't let you color your arms either when you were a kid either. Look at you all tattooed up.
Well, he's also a great piano player and singer. He said he can sing, but he can also play piano and acoustic guitar really good.
That's awesome, man.
So
So now with the music, obviously it really grabbed a hold of you. When did you start like gravitating towards instruments? Did you start on piano? Was it guitar? What started you off?
I definitely started off on like I had like a really shitty acoustic guitar because that was like the most accessible, cheapest thing to get. And then for some reason, like I was always drawn to like percussion or drumming. I remember I was the type of kid where like I used to get kicked out of class a lot because I would drum
Banging
on my
on
desk,
shit.
have, like, pens and pencils, and I'd always get kicked out. Like I had this one teacher who used to grab my pens and throw them out the window. So I was always just kind of drawn to it, and like I enjoy anything that's like physical, and then it takes like hand-eye coordination, and it takes like muscle memory. I'm like a fan of, like I'm a fan of like taking 6 months to learn how to play like a paradiddle or a triplet or something like that, and like getting like the muscle memory down. So like a lot of like repetitiveness I'm into, and so that's kind of what drew me into it, was like the physicality of it, and then also the muscle memory and the hand-eye coordination stuff. It was like a physical exercise along with like being musical too. So that's kind of what first drew me. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a disease right there. You need that extra challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like that's cool shit, man. I love hearing that stuff, man. Because and this is why I asked this question, is because I find it so fascinating, dude. That and I brought this up in the last couple podcasts too, because like my daughter really loves music. I mean, she will wake up and turn it on right away. And I even posted this question on Facebook a couple weeks ago as well. Like, how does music affect you, man? How do you respond sensory to it? You know what I mean? Does it give you chills? Does it make you want to chase it a little bit? And I remember being a young man and finding things like that, and finding those cool bands, and wanting to teach your friends and show your friends all those cool bands, man. So it's even cooler when your parents pull back a little bit and they're like, hey, we got to give them some space to breathe and grow. And you find music, and they probably realize that you had a good base with the way they started to raise you, and they're like, hey, we're going to let you roll with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool shit. Parents giving you the space to grow and breathe, man. That's really cool.
That's primordial for parents to let kids do that.
Yes, it's super important, man. I always like to thank those parents too at the all ages shows. I always try to stop and say, hey, thanks, because dude, it takes those parents to have the patience to allow us to play those instruments or be loud and obnoxious in their home, and them to hear us play those horrible songs over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So it's go ahead.
I had 12 years of practice in my parents' basement in France. And I remember my dad telling one of the neighbors to F off one time because we're too noisy.
Yeah, I've had that happen a couple times.
And he literally told them, it's during the day, you have nothing to say. And it just, and I'm personally, I'm really lucky that my parents have always supported that. Always.
Yeah.
So that's essential. If your kid wants to music, support it.
Absolutely. And I think, man, us as young folks, man, and young humans, we need that puzzle in our lives to like separate us from all the chaos in life. You know what I mean? Like growing up nowadays, I couldn't imagine being a teenager nowadays and going through the shit that those kids go through, and the social media and the nonsense and the bullying and craziness. But I'll tell you what, I work with a guy who was the bass player of the band White Crosses, and his grandson, man, is this kid who takes music to a whole nother level, man. And this is again why I go to these conversations, because I want a kid like that to stumble on on stories like your guys's, you know, when you found music, how much it inspired you, how much it drove you to become that much of a better musician, to follow that instrument, to do all that stuff. And Mike's grandson, man, he's just feeding it to him. You know what I'm saying? And the kid's just gobbling it up, just nonstop, dude. The kid's got tutorials on YouTube, on TV, and he's playing multiple instruments at like 11 or 12, dude. He's just full on, and I love it. And I cheer him on all the time. Dude, I'm like, this kid is gonna be one of the baddest guitar player, bass players of all time, man. This kid is just, he eats it up, man. The kid don't want nothing to do. I think the last 3 albums he bought were like 3 old Ozzy albums and like some Motley Crue or some shit. The kid's like into all the old school stuff, so it's great. Let's continue. What was going on in your home when you were young?
Man, lots of stuff. I have kind of a similar story to Jay's, a little bit different. I grew up in a Pentecostal home.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so speaking in tongues, barking, laughing, and the Holy Spirit, all that stuff. Saw all sorts of crazy shit, you know, at church. Yeah, the Shakers and Quakers, man.
Yeah, dude.
So,
At least they weren't no snakes or nothing. You know what I'm saying?
No, unfortunately, there was no snakes. But I mean,
like break the chains or
yeah.
whatever.
Oh yeah, we broke chains,
Oh,
and
shit.
there was banners and all. I mean, it was just like mayhem, you know. So that's like the environment I was. And it's funny because both my parents like were originally from like very strict Roman Catholic families, and then they got saved, you know, in the 80s. And yeah, so I grew up in a very like Christian home. Got into, although like with that, it's like my mom was really into the Beatles and the Monkees and like all the classics and stuff. And like, you know, my dad, same thing, like Led Zeppelin, all that stuff. So it's like I always heard that on the radio, like when we were in the car, and my dad would be singing along. So it's like there was never like this strict sort of like you can't listen to certain styles of music or whatever. But there was still like that again, because like the satanic panic of the 80s bled into the 90s, whatever. So like anything that looked evil, sounded evil, whatever, you know, is like no go. And my uncle Chris he's still to this day like just like he's got the big high rise like pump, you know, gym shoes, or the
Nike pumps.
The Nike pumps, like
they make you jump high.
Yeah, and he had like this big 80s drum set, and like he had, so like I was actually saying before we like went on is that like I saw like the Iron Maiden Number of the Beast album in his record collection, and I seen that for the first time. It like was burned in my memory. I was like, this is so fucking cool, you know. And he's like, yeah, your dad wouldn't like that. And so so he was kind of like part of that like start of like interest in this, like, ooh, what is this stuff, you know, like this other world of music. But then there was like, you know, with Christian music, now it's like it's all kind of very much the same. But like in the 90s, like Christian music was actually kind of interesting for a moment, because there was like some rock bands that were doing some cool things. And so that kind of started, you know, it was like the almost like copying Nirvana riffs type of stuff.
Shit, there were even thrash bands and punk bands and all that stuff at some point too, right?
Yeah, and like at the dawn of the, you know, when I was getting on the internet, you know, it's like I was looking for all that stuff, like all the Christian like thrash, like death metal stuff. Actually, Crimson Thorn from Minneapolis.
Yep.
Was, or I don't know if it's Minneapolis or St. Paul.
Yep, Minneapolis. Yep, totally.
Yeah. So yeah, they were one of the first bands that were like death metal and Christian. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And one of my introductions to death metal was from, of course, Ace Ventura with Cannibal Corpse. So it was like I saw that and I was like, this is nuts, you know. But like all around the home, like there was just kind of, there was never really like a strict, but I still would like hide CDs, you know, if I got like, because my buddies would like burn me like Slipknot and System of a Down and stuff like that. So I had to hide those things, but yeah, that's kind of like what was happening at the time. but there was always this like worry of like, oh, well, it's going to lead you down like the wrong path, you know, like whatever. But I've always been drawn to like, I don't know, I guess the darker side of life. So that was something that always intrigued me. So
How so? Like what about the darker side of life that intrigued you? What was it?
I don't know. Like my earliest memory of like just being captivated by something was the movie Fantasia with The Night on Bald Mountain with Chernobog, the demon.
It's the best
And,
part of the movie.
Yeah, I know. And like my mom would get so mad because like we had it on VHS, you know, and she'd get so mad because I would just fast forward the whole thing, you know, because it's like 3 hours long or whatever. I'd fast forward the whole thing just to get to the Chernobog part. And she's like, you always just want to watch this part, you know? And so like, you know, but I don't know. I've always been fascinated by like the underbelly of things.
So do you root for the heel? Do you root for the bad guy? Do you like all the bad guys?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of always just been innate. I don't know. And so, but you know, I through like up until I was an adult, like I'm married and I have 4 kids, but like 10 or 11 years ago, I, you know, was still like a Christian. But I kind of had like an existential crisis and faith crisis, whatever. And like really kind of started to look into stuff myself, you know, and like realize like it's all bullshit for the most part. All the stuff I was told. And so that was like a real life shattering thing. And I lost all these friends and whatever, you know, or, you know, friends. Because as soon as you start questioning things, then people leave, you know. So it's like, so that was painful, but I would go through it like 1,000 times over, you know, compared to like continuing on the path out. Because I was going to be like a pastor at one point, and like it was just crazy. And now like me and my wife joke about all the time. We're like, can you believe like that was what we were doing, you know? So yeah, it was just, so yeah, I kind of like led this double life of like, where like I was trying to be a Christian and do like the, you know, the right thing, but also like, I really loved this crazy music, you know? And I grew up like hardcore punk, metalcore, went through all of the phases, I guess, or stages and styles, but yeah, man. So
let me ask you this, man. What would you say to somebody who is very religious, who was in their mind judging people like you who are finding good music and finding their way to question truth and to question their faith? What would you say to somebody who was judging you right now? Like, what could you lay on them?
Oh man, I would say like, you know, look at I guess like church history, look at things outside of what your pastor or your church is telling you is true. Because I was told all these things about, you know, like other religions or other ways of life through a Christian lens. And it was always within the safety net of like, well, my pastor's telling me this about Hinduism or Buddhism or whatever it is, you know? So it was always them telling me. And then I finally, like when I kind of hit my crisis or whatever, like 11 years ago, I like got out of that safety net and started searching like people who actually spent their lives like studying this stuff, you know? And so I would say like search for yourself and don't just stay in the safety net of like your Christian bubble, because like a lot of it is just to keep you in that bubble. Actually all of it is because because you gotta continue to read your Bible, continue to pray, go to church, whatever. But it's like, if that's all you do and you're just around these people who are yes men and yes women or whoever, you're always going to be kind of, you know, wanting to stay in that comfortable place, you know. So you have to get uncomfortable and get out of, you know, so if you're having doubts, like follow those doubts, you know, because I've had them all my life, you know. I for a long time I just pushed them down, you know, and was like, you know, well, that's not godly.
You know, this music and this lifestyle, man, you know, of being a musician, you know, we kind of talked about it a little bit before, you know, being a young person and finding music and it being like this puzzle that opens up a Pandora's box for learning about your life, learning about human beings in general, learning about the human existence, writing about things that are existential, you know, dread and pain and suffering, things that we we go through on a regular basis, a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? And
For sure.
the judgment of people who don't understand it, who don't give it the time of day is such a horrible thing to me, man. And those people that preach love and you know, trust and forgiveness of your fellow man, you know, those are the people that scoff at this music that we've created and that we create and we continue to create these riffs and these magical things that we pull out of the air, because I honestly believe that we're kind of channel, you know, these grooves that we have like tapped into us. There's no way that you're going to show me A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3s on a fretboard and tell me that you're just going to make mathematical problems. And it's just, you know, you could, dude, it's such a crazy puzzle to open a person's mind. And it blows me away that people in religion and so many other things in life, man, where people look down on heavy metal people, or people who have tattoos, or people who question this truth that we've been fed, this indoctrination that we've been fed our entire life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it, when it comes to music, I feel this freedom, and I know you guys understand this when I talk about that. It's a freedom of expression, a freedom of looking at another person in this room and allowing and accepting everything that they are about. You know what I'm saying? Like that jive, that feel that you guys have organically brought to each, you know, with each other in the same room, man. This music's fantastic, dude. You guys are killing it. Now, you know, it just, it blows me away, man. And that's why I asked you that question and asked you to say that, is because to me, it's so puzzling that music has done so much for me. It's saved me from hurting other human beings, you know, because I was able to go into a studio with great people who have gone through other crazy shit in their lives, man. You know what I mean? Like real abuse, real pain, you know, broken homes. I mean, you name it. Most musicians that I know that a lot of people would look at, you know what I'm saying? People that we've gone to church with, people that we know who say, you know, forgiveness and all this other shit that they preach to us, right? All these truths, all these things that they try to keep us in this little fucking box and make us afraid of things, you know what I mean? And we meet these extraordinary human beings and we create this extraordinary music and find other talented people. Why would you try to even, you know, stop somebody from being creative in life, period? Like, you know, control. That's the only thing you can think of, man. You know what I'm saying? Like to keep people down. It's fucking insane to me, dude, you know?
That's why, in my opinion, any form of art has been just the anti, how to say that? It's just freedom.
Yeah, right.
You know, like you said, I mean, I'm not trying to repeat what you said, but that goes on the opposite of people trying to control you, because when you express yourself artistically and when you can appreciate other people's art, you find some kind of freedom.
Yeah.
You accept others for what they give you.
Yeah.
Give them back your appreciation. And that's, to me, that's a big freedom to have.
Yeah. Man, some of the most intelligent, you know, caring human beings I've ever met have been musicians, man. You know, people that have, you know, they lock themselves in a closet to play this riff over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Those dudes that, you know, to find that paradiddle that they're using every single limb to just separate them from all of the shit that happened in their life. You know what I'm saying? And they come out of that practice space. They come out of that closet. They come out of whatever psychosis that they're trying to, you know what I mean, break from that Rubik's Cube of learning this music, man. It's such a therapeutic thing, man. How the hell can you, how can you, you know, deny people of that feeling, man, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
We could keep going. How about you, sir? What was going on in your house? What were you listening to? What were your folks listening to?
Well, my dad, he was a big metalhead when I was younger. Metallica, Iron Maiden, all that kinds of stuff. And my mom, she was really big into like the 90s stuff. Like she listened to like some grunge. So I got into like Nirvana and like stuff like Pearl Jam and whatever from her. I mean, and I think my dad's music taste shaped a lot of like my taste today with like the metal, because he was just like a metal dude. But I actually had a lot of kind of like pushback from him when I was younger, because he was like a hesher. He was like a straight up just like metal dude doing stuff, doing drugs, doing drinking, all that stuff. But I remember like when I started getting into like stuff like System of a Down. I remember I had like, I think it was their Hypnotize album, or maybe it was Mesmerized, one with like I'm Too, like Cocaine or it's on there.
Yeah.
And I remember I would get pushback from him because he was like, why are you listening to this kind of music? And it was weird because it's like, this is the stuff that you are about, I think. But I don't know. I gravitated to a lot of like the darker music when I was younger.
Yeah.
It's
Now,
like a lot of.
like instrument wise, were you always a guitar player? What was your initial instrument?
Well, originally I was a guitar player, but growing up in like rural Minnesota, like it ended up like that we want to start a band, but then we have like 3 guitar players in our band. So somebody had to like bite the bullet and become the bass player. So I played bass for like most of my life. This is like the first band I've ever been in where I've been like a guitar player, and I still feel like a fake when it comes to being a guitar player, because it's just like I'm just a bassist pretending to be a guitar player, because it's like I like to approach everything rhythmically when it comes to like music. Music is, I always think about how percussive you can make a riff.
Yeah, dude, that really shows through, like vocal wise. I know if you feel it, percussion wise, you know what I mean? Like it slams more. I don't know. As a vocalist, whenever I feel a riff is has that groove to it where you could add so much more to it. You know what I mean? It feel. Did I explain that really goofy? That riff, you just add stuff to it. Oh, you mean like any other riff? Yeah, I got it.
But yeah, I mean, I had a similar upbringing to like Jason, where it was like I was raised Lutheran and all that stuff. But everybody in that kind of like part of my life was very accepting. Like my grandmother, she's a super Lutheran lady. She would take me to like our local Lutheran church like every Sunday, and it was just always like awesome. It's like, but it was primarily pushback from I think my father, because it's just like he was afraid of like the road I could go down.
Oh yeah. He's seen it, man. You know what I mean? He knew if he was a metalhead, he knew which way you could go. You know what I'm saying? That's the tough part about being, in the music industry or whatever, because my kids really enjoy the music, but I would never want them as females to be in a male dominated, you know what I mean? Like I always told my daughters, I'm like, guys are liars. We're going to tell you anything we can to get those pants off. And they're like, Dad. And I'm like, I was a guy once, it's like,
yeah.
So yeah, I know how that shit is, man. How about you, Adam? What do you got, buddy? How you feeling, man? You look a little tired over there, bud.
I've been sick this week. Don't mind me. I'm just a little whiny about it. I grew up. My parents were mostly listening to like gospel, Amy Grant. It's just that Christian not even Christian rock.
Yeah,
like it was like
pop,
gospel, whatever. Get it.
Amy Grant's more pop, right? Amy Grant's more like Christian pop, kind of, isn't it?
I would, yeah. So, I think like the most thing my dad would listen to is like 38 Special in Boston, Foreigner, that stuff.
Thank you.
So, I started. We up in northern North Dakota, there were no record stores, so I was stuck to what I could find in like the Christian bookstore when we would go to Grand Forks. So I listened to a lot of like DC Talk, Newsboys, that kind of the same Christian rock music. And then I think I was in 8th grade, and one of my classmates was like, "Hey, you should listen to this song called Whiskey in the Jar by Metallica." And of course, so I go to download it because that's the access I had was Kazaa and LimeWire and that shit. and that got me into Metallica. And I would listen to all the Metallica. You know, when people talk about listening to old Metallica and not liking new Metallica, like that's all. I listened to all of that at the same time because it was. I didn't have albums. I just downloaded like single songs. You
Yeah.
know? Anyway, um, and that gravitated towards DC Talk. Led me to Project 86, which was, you know, more of that heavy guitar. And
Now,
then
now Project 86, they were still a Christian band too, right?
Yep.
Okay,
And I
okay.
think they just kind of came out with, I think their last album, I think they went like full deathcore or something.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
think I don't think they consider themselves Christian anymore, but
Oh,
I
wow.
honestly haven't paid that much attention to them lately. But um, early on, browsing message boards and stuff like that, I learned about a band called Children of Bodom, and that was a huge leap for me because I was listening to Metallica and Iron Maiden, just kind of that traditional heavy metal, and then you bring out Children of Bodom. That was the first extreme, fast guitar, streaky vocals, that sort of thing. And I really latched on to the melodies. Yeah, just guitar leads and stuff like that, which is funny since I'm a bass player, but yeah. And then as far as music, started off a little bit of piano. In 5th grade, I picked up the trombone.
Nice.
Uh-oh, freezing.
And played that through my first year at college, but picked up junior year of high school. And didn't really have a band till I was in college because I had a couple of high school buddies that, one wanted to play drums and one wanted to play guitar, but we just, being dumb high school kids, just never made it happen. And yeah, I guess that about kind of sums it up.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. So I wanted to ask you guys, in Brainerd, like what's the status of venues up there? What kind of venues do you guys have up there?
I think you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as actual venues, we just kind of have the one. A place called Yeah Sure Kombucha. Guy opened up a kombucha. Sean is his name.
So he opened. So it's a kombucha bar. So you basically go get mushroom tea in the place, or what?
Yeah.
Yep. And then the back area, he put in a full stage sound system, all that stuff. So put a legit venue area in the back of and it's an all ages venue. So we played I don't know how many shows there ourselves, but there's a while where I think he's got something going every weekend. And
that's awesome, man.
Kids come out. Yeah.
Now is it difficult for, and that's kind of my question, like is it difficult for city bands to get up there and play? Is it hard to get in there? Is it
No, Sean is really cool about that. Like he's always as far as I know, he's always welcoming bands from anywhere, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The first one we played was with
Which
Den from the cities. And no, that place. I want to give a shout to him because that's the best thing that happened to the Brainerd area.
Mm-hmm.
He's really going above and beyond to treat the group, the bands right, to treat the audience right, and it's really not super big, but really cool place.
Yeah.
It's like the kombucha bar, but then there's a back room, the James Cullen.
Yeah, James Cullen room.
James Cullen room, and that's a very nice room, a nice stage, nice sound system, and everything. And it's really worth it for any traveling band to stop there. Really.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. To have a spot to rock out, an all age venue too. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's really giving a chance to anybody, like bands that are just started or local bands more experienced like us, or traveling bands, and any style. There's even some symphonic music going on there sometimes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So it's really anything, whether you're just a one person with an acoustic guitar or a full band, or it's really cool.
Yeah.
How many bands would you guys say are in your area that play heavy? Do you have a few up there nowadays? I know back in the Cobaloid days, you only had a couple, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
this more now. I mean,
It's probably 2 or 3. I can.
I think there's
one
like
is
Cryptic Diversion.
Cryptic
Derision.
Derision.
Marrow does some heavier stuff. My old band that was on, and then there's
Earth and Solerend, so that's 4.
Solerend, yeah.
and then there's the guys that what was the
Brain damage, dude.
Well, it was
Brain Damage, but there's a new band. It's like a
Sanity
hardcore Sanity Play. That's
Sanity.
what it is.
They're like a hardcore, like old school 80s hardcore.
Nice.
It's really cool. It's like, yeah, they just, it's like stepping back into time seeing them play because they like have like the,
It's like something like off.
yeah, it's just really, it's wild. But they're pretty, well, they might be older. I don't know how old they are now,
I think
but
they're in
they're,
high school.
yeah, they're
still-
high school age, but yeah.
But they're
From what
cool.
I see, there's way more bands now. I mean, way more. There's many more bands now than in our Cobalt time in 2013, 14. So like 10 years ago. And the really cool thing is I see more bands with young kids trying to get it together and get going. And that place we just talked about is great because it's really giving them a place to perform.
And it's a good venue.
And it's really cool that Sean, the owner Sean, is really giving them a place to just get on stage and have their first go at it.
Man, that's the tough part, man. You guys know that, like just breaking the ice and getting in there. So Sean's the owner of the place, and is he the guy that books the place as well?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
he
believe
usually
so,
books,
yeah.
and then like it'll be like maybe whoever's setting up the show will bring in bands as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's really awesome, dude. That's so cool. That you guys aren't that small of a town anymore, man. You guys are growing pretty well, right?
It's pretty big. Like there's been a lot of because like the town I'm from, like Crosby Ironton, it's like for the longest time it was like a podunk nothing kind of like town.
Yeah.
It's just like what's there? It's like they export meth heads
Yeah.
kind of thing. but it's like it's really nice because like I remember like growing up for like the longest time. Because like when I started out, it was like I was in a punk band for like the longest time, and the only place we really had to play was like the Medium in Brainerd, and eventually that place shut down. So then in bands that I had afterwards, it was just we had to play like the youth center or just find a place where we'd be like, can we play here, please?
Right. Yeah, that's always tough, man. Trying to find those little halls or wherever you can bring a PA and set up and get it going. You know what I mean? I've done those back in the day, man. We played some ballrooms and shit where we're renting out a ballroom and you're trying to match a PA together, and I've gone to EMI back in the day and rented a small PA and thrown a big New Year's Eve party with like 12 kegs and shit, and that was super fun. We did it in an old furniture barn, dude. It was insane. I had people throwing up in recliners in the little flop open deals, and it was funny because my buddy's dad owned the furniture store, man. So we're having this big metal show in this furniture store. It's snowing outside. Somebody stole a couple kegs, which we got back, obviously, but mayhem back in the day. Yeah, those DIY spots were awesome, man. So I wanted to actually. I'm going to pull up Facebook really quick because you guys have a show coming up on the next weekend, isn't it? At on the 21st at
Sinkfest.
Eagles 34.
Yep.
Let me see if I can scroll down. I want to make sure I get that. That's the one flyer that I didn't put in the damn in the flyers deal here that I can just push a button. So I'll just go to this one, and it looks like it'll be at Eagles 34. That's the 21st of March. Plague of Stars,
Yep.
Living Through Ghosts, Boor, Thunder Goat, Red Vinter, Wilbur, Enigmatus, and Sweet Land. Sponsored by the Shred Den. Let me see here. Sinkfest 2. That's March 21st at Eagles 34, 2507 East 25th Street, Minneapolis. How'd you guys get hooked up on this? Did you guys play with Red Vinter or something?
No, they reached out to us. I think it's Mike. I'm sorry if I'm gonna say the last name wrong. Bullock.
Yep.
Bullock.
Yep.
So he actually emailed the band's email, which I manage, and just ask us, do you guys want to be part of this? And so we said, hell yeah, and there we are.
There we go, man. That's badass. So the 21st, man, that one looks like a really fun night. A lot of really fantastic bands on that one, and it's the second one. I think this is like double the bands that he had last year. I'm thinking on this one. But Mike's a really good dude, and I've been kind of pushing this show pretty hard these last couple weeks. Yeah, that's fantastic. And then let me see here. We'll go to these other ones. We'll go back here and go to these other flyers. I've got one here for Sampaguita. Is that what it is? An Atkin? Sampaguita? Go ahead.
Yeah, Sampaguita, yeah.
Okay, that was
Samsonite. I was way off.
Samsonite.
Samsonite.
It works for me, man. I'm there, man. That one's in Atkin, Minnesota, on the 10th of April. That's Boor. Solerend. You guys are pulling double duty on that one, man. What do you guys think you are? Rob Carlson up in this place or what? What's going on? You got 12 bands.
It's not Bobby.
Yep, the
Can't
Bobby
hold a candle to
icon.
Bobby.
Yep. Cryptic decision.
Derision. Yep.
Is that another band from up that way?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like a black and thrash kind of vibe, but they have some like hardcore elements too. They're pretty cool guys, and they're really laid back. And but yeah, so we're like, it'd be fun to play with them again because I think we played one other gig with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so just Sampaguita is in Aiken. It's like this venue that's again like another cool like place that's like kind of just coming up and allowing people to play who
Yeah, man, and on the outskirts of the cities too, man. This is the cool shit that I talk about on my podcast all the time. Is that these bands from the cities need to reach out to guys like you guys, man, and swap shows and get this in the motion, because you do a weekend, you hit these couple spots, and then you bang out to Duluth and you do some spots out there in Superior, and you shoot down. There's the cat from the Cryptid Productions down in St. Peter and Mankato. Those dudes are that cat is putting on shit down there. I mean, you spread yourself out through the goddamn the spots to play, man. It's the best. Yeah, exactly. You got it. Look. Do all that stuff, man. And then we got another one here. I'll switch the screen here for the folks to see some riff ritual at the red carpet main stage with Russ Bucket, Raven, and Boor. 5/29/26. 8:30 p.m. $10. Okay, this last one that I just switched off of to, that's a $10 cover as well. It says suggested donations. We're just gonna say it's a $10 cover. That's a modest price for a cool show in a cool spot. Let's be honest. These guys got to eat and they got to pay for gas and all that other shit. Show up and be there for that one. Again, the riff ritual at the red carpet main stage with Russ Bucket. Russ Bucket's a band that's popped up on my radar as of late. Very cool dudes, cool band.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played?
We played at the Calabar with them, and I was personally mind blown. I mean, I really like them.
Hell yeah.
Very good music and great musicianship. And,
Hell yeah. And then you guys are doing another riff ritual at the James Cullen room with Russ Bucket. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's we just talked about from Brainerd. That's the name of the back room at that kombucha bar at Kombucha.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That one's 5:30, 26, 6 p.m. doors, $10 cover. That's at the Sure Kombucha in the back room. Is that what is it? The James Cullen room?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a historical figure that has to do with like the building in some way. I think that's why he called it that. But yeah, it's just kind of to differentiate it. Yeah. So
hell yeah, that's awesome. Well, you guys got some awesome shows coming up. We're gonna hit them again. We're gonna play this video for Soul Dusk. I actually played this on one of my last podcasts because I wanted people to know that you guys were coming up, and it's a really cool fucking video. And it was my excuse me, introduction to you guys, and I talked to Adam a few years back. We were talking about, I don't know if we were video gaming or doing something, and we were talking about doom music.
Probably.
I think we were talking about the sword, or we were talking about something, and you guys were throwing the idea around of doing something more doomy-esque. And
Mm-hmm.
I expected more doom out of you guys from this before I heard it. But then when I heard it, now I'm old school black metal or death metal, and I do appreciate a good black metal. So to me, this was like a blackened doom, man. Like, like you went down to New Orleans and you threw some extra salt on it and you gave it the whammy. You know what I'm saying? So I fully appreciated it, man, when I heard it. And so tell me about Soul Dusk and who did the video. How did it come to be?
Well, the video was like an in-house thing. Our buddy Vince over here did it.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
Dude, you did a fantastic job, by the way.
What was the name of the video, like where it came from? What was the
Oh yeah.
We found some footage from
blinking on the guy's name, but it's like a famous video of like
Landscape.
just like landscapes and sceneries and yeah.
and at first we were throwing around the idea of having that playing while we play shows, like projecting it in the background. And then we were talking about doing a music video for one of the songs because the EP was just about to get done and getting out. So I took that video and just added more footage, like royalty-free footage I found, and just starting to put this together with the lyrics and the music and all that. And yeah, it was just.
I know that's not an easy process, man. I know that probably took you a good.
Quite some time on it.
Yeah,
And
you did
there's
a
some
great job.
in that video. There's also some art that Mark did, throwing some ideas for EP cover that we and didn't and using for the EP cover, but I used that in the video, and some pictures, some really cool photos that Adam took too.
Oh yeah.
So there was a bit of a mix of everything.
So everybody kind of had a little bit of input on it, huh, when it came creatively.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. I really dig it, man. And it was visually pleasing, man, when I saw it. And I've been getting into this video shit a lot more because of trying to implement more on the podcast, like just adding production wise. And so when you sent me, or actually, you know what, Mike from Red Vinter sent me the video. He's the one who sent it to me. And I'm like, I saw it and I was like, oh, fuck yeah. I know these guys. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, dude. So because I played 4 bands from that show. I did a Plague of Stars. I did you guys, Red Vinter, and then I think I did a Thunder Goat tune on that one just to promote the show, to show people what was all jamming during the thing. So, dude, this is a cool video. If you guys haven't seen it yet, we're gonna play this, and then we'll talk about what the tune's all about when we get back. How about that? Makes sense, right?
Sounds good.
Do me a favor, when you hear me come back on, just unmute it for me when we come back. I'm gonna mute you guys real quick.
Okay.
Here we go. Get these guys muted real quick. Again, I appreciate you guys joining the show and listening to the podcast. If you haven't already subscribed, if you're watching at a later date, do me a favor, just hit the subscribe button down there. Like this podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe to all these guys' social medias, Instagram, Facebook, anything that they do. Check them out on BANDCAMP as well. We're gonna play this video. Stick around, folks. We will be back. Everybody in the background, go take a piss because you got time to. We're gonna play this video. We'll be back. I'm the Hexkin. You're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast. You're watching Ritual Madness Podcast, hopefully. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, Jace of Music, in the chat, hitting all of the love in the back, screaming everybody out here. We got a croissant, we got a French flag, we got a drum set with an arm and a microphone with the heavy metal and a guitar and lots of hearts, and I appreciate that very much. And I hope your mom's feeling better too, by the way, if that's the Jace that I'm thinking of. Again, we're hanging out with the guys from Boor, from Brainerd, Minnesota. We just watched Soul Dusk, their lyric video. Tell me about the song. What is Soul Dusk about? Anybody?
Well, it's kind of funny because, like, again, so like the foundation of the song is all based on feeling, right?
Yeah.
So it was so weird because like it took me forever to get the lyrics like what they became to be. This was one of the first, or the first song we made. So I would write lyrics, and like the first part of it where it says you're chilled down the spine, freezing at the feet, barren in the trees, like that was something that was always there. But the song kind of went through, like lyrically went through like kind of a metamorphosis, like where like it doesn't really have a significant meaning to it. It's just kind of a feeling. Like this feeling, I guess the most concrete way I could say it is like the feeling of like when you are like in the woods, let's say, and there's like strong wind, and maybe it's like gray, kind of dark outside, whatever, and just this kind of like, anytime being in the woods for me has been a more than normal experience. I won't say supernatural, but it's like more than normal. There's this kind of like sense that something else is going on, like there's this greater presence or weight to being in the woods, for me anyway. So like I kind of use that feeling to kind of permeate the song with this sense of like this kind of force behind everything that's going on. And so like there's a part where I say like I light the inner candle centered vigil. So it's kind of like this idea of, again, like this sense of like being meditative or like being contemplative in nature, and the sense of like that there's a sacredness to nature, but it's not necessarily like nice, or like kind. It's like a untamable force of like just like blind, this like, I don't know. So it's like a humbling thing, when I'm thinking about it lyrically. But again, it like talking about it as like how we worked it out. It was like I redid the lyrics so many times, and so I eventually got to the end of it, and I was like, okay, there's no real like clear concept here, but that's okay. Like I let myself be okay with it. Where like kind of in the past, like I would tell myself like, this song has to have a specific like climax or ending or like whatever, if I'm writing stuff. But I just let myself be okay with like the fact that it's kind of a mishmash,
Yeah, for sure.
So it's more about a vibe and like an aesthetic and just kind of this feeling of like, this extra presence kind of pervading everything, but yet it's not really like something we can name or like anyway. So that's kind of the idea lyrically behind it.
A knowing force.
A knowing
Yeah,
force.
that makes sense too, man. Hell yeah. I mean, that kind of speaks of the spirituality part of it too, man. You know what I mean? Like different types of religion, speak of the sun, moon, and stars. You know what I'm saying? They believe in the wind and everything. It's cool. That's an awesome concept, man. And the video is awesome. Vince, you did all that, and everybody kind of pitched in on that one too, huh? Like artwork side.
Like I said, I used the footage that Jay came across at first, and then had to add to it like some. I know I used some cool photos that Adam took and some artwork that Mark did. Some royalty-free images I found with just shooting right just for the video. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you guys this question, and it's kind of a weird one, man. I mean, not really that weird, but Back in the day, man, when I was coming up, dude, there was such thing as a promo pack. Okay, so like a band would put things together that they would send to a label. And now I kind of want to ask you guys, now that things have changed in the world of music for in the last 20 years at least, man, what would you guys think a good promo pack would be for a band if they were to approach a label? What do you guys think? What would you guys put in that promo pack?
That's a hard question.
Yeah,
Because music is so different these days.
Yeah.
Because it feels like
A laser disc.
a laser
Laser disc.
floppy disk. Yeah. I got my 5.5 floppy.
And yet,
Nintendo cartridge.
I don't know for everyone else, but we went into that then not really thinking, having grand plans of any of that. So we're pretty, personally, I haven't really think about it.
Yeah.
I think I'm too much of a pessimist to really even think about anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's why I asked this question. It's something that I've kind of tried to. I guess I'm not really a mentor in any way, in my opinion. I think that, I've been through some things and I've seen some things. I've met a lot of cool people and played in some cool bands and met a lot of cool bands. And I love to do this type of thing. And I love to try to pass the information on to people. And I always try to find ways that people can, put some things together like they could give to other bands, like say, okay, we're gonna we want to do a show with someone. What would you give another band? Like, what would you say? Hey, this is what my band offers. Would you say, here's where you get? Let me back up again. So what I try to tell people is like a logo. Okay, so your basic logo is something that you should always have on your Facebook account. Is what I always tell people. Like you should have an album that has basic logos, a black and white logo, whether it's white logo itself with a black background or the inverted of that. A picture like Vince, when I as I've been doing this show and growing this show and putting this show together, I've kind of put things together that I want people to send me now, and it helps me a lot more get production done on the show. So like Vince sent me a picture of you guys, so it's like an 8x10 picture, black and white picture, awesome. Sends me a basic logo, allows me to do whatever I want with it to make my flyer look cool, which I love, and I think that it's something that I've been trying to push on bands, and not necessarily, you guys have been in the game, long enough to know kind of the processes of things. But I always try to help, like the newer bands that may have stumbled on this podcast or stumbled on, or really trying to like break into it, try to figure out how do I get into Sure Kombucha? How do I get into the Turf Club in St. Paul? How do I get into these little things? And I try to give people little bits of tips or little bits of things like that. And now when I ask about the promo pack, I always try to I've been trying to push this on people a lot, man, because not a lot of times that people have the backing or money. Everybody's working full-time jobs. You're scraping to get your gear to play out of, right? Good, solid, gigging gear. So it's not like you have a ton of money, but it's always good to have your ducks in a row when it comes to putting your band out there, whether you have grandiose plans of being a rock star, or if it's just basic goals to get to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? So for me, the basic thing is a black and white logo in an album on your Facebook page, a black and white photo, something that if I was to book your band, I would want to be able to, you guys are all working full-time jobs. You just go to the Facebook, grab the logo, you're ready to go, that type of thing, So another thing that I was trying to push on people is exactly what you guys did, is to take it in-house and to make a lyric video, or to take your music and put your contact information while you're playing the song, right? Just in a YouTube video. If you don't have the budget to make this fancy thing, you guys did what I'm talking about, is that you took it upon yourselves to make something cool, and everybody pitched in on it. It looks awesome, and you have something that you could use in a promo pack. You got your logo, you got your picture, you got a badass video, that really kind of shows that this is, to me, a video like that shows the professionalism of a band who really wants to do more than just play in a coffee shop every weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to get out and play Duluth. You want to go to Superior. You want to go to Milwaukee. I mean, you want to do Slam Dakota Fest. I mean, Boor, Solerend, the bands that you guys are jamming with, everybody could do these festivals. All these bands are good enough is what I'm saying. And these promo packs, it seems silly, but it's it's one email with a folder that has 10 cool things in it. I mean, it could be Vince in a banana hammock for all we know. You know what I mean?
A Frenchman in a banana hammock.
Smoking a croissant.
Yeah, he's smoking.
All right, man. How many crepes did you make in the last couple of days, dude?
I'm raising my grandkids, and I've been making a lot of crepes.
That's awesome, man.
You're asking me for crepes every day.
That's so awesome, man. Hell yeah. Adam, tell me a story. Anything. Tell me a story. You look like you're about to fall asleep. Yeah.
Well, and I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi up in my room either, because there's times where you guys are pausing. So if I look like I'm zoning out, it's like because I'm waiting for the video to catch up. But talking about the video and the press kit and all that stuff. Also props to Vince because he's the one it's always his idea to, like, we should have the Facebook page link, all the stuff you're talking about. But talking about having that content for people to see, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think our first couple of shows, like, at least one of them was somebody who just saw, like, the first video of Soul Dusk we put on Facebook.
Pretty much.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they saw that we just, we stuck a camera on a tripod and recorded us playing that song, posted that video online, and somebody saw that and was like, hey, can you come play a show?
And I believe, I don't think I'm wrong, but the guy who came to Yasher and made a nice review of the whole show and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot the name of it. But same thing, it was from seeing the video, and then he got into our BANDCAMP, got our CD and music, and it just came all the way to Brainerd to see us play and made a review.
See, now that's exactly what I'm talking about, man, is those one or two guys that little bit of extra effort. You know what I'm saying, man? To put your things out there, to not even if you have these, you don't have to have these grandiose plans, man. I know when we were kids and we were trying to start playing, back in the day, you always thought, man, I'm going to get into this venue and I'm going to do this. And, maybe you get one of these awesome shows and you think, oh man, it's the next step to get to, the next great thing. But, the fact of the matter is that, now Vince, you said in the very beginning, it's like in France, you really have to bust your ass to get into these things. You have to, like, put your best foot forward to be able to even get into some of these venues. I think here in America, we're so fucking spoiled when it comes to this shit. Sometimes we take it for granted, and these little ideas that you think, it's nothing that big of a deal. And then you have two guys. And that's a perfect example to show people that these little bitty efforts, these little things that are really nothing. You already have the music, right? You already have all the links. You put it on a BANDCAMP. You got it on Facebook. You got it on X or Twitter or whatever the fuck. You got it on TikTok and Instagram. All you have to do is type it in and flash it while the music's playing. You know what I'm saying? That is that easy. And then when you have someone who likes what you're doing and invites you to play a show, holy shit, that's even more of a bonus. This is the type of stuff that I love, that you guys get a reaction out of it, and it's proof that we as musicians and people who are out here in the music scene, we have to go that little bit extra step to do these little things, because I was praising a band and they started laughing while I was saying it, and they're like, dude, you're the first guy that ever gave us credit on just doing so. We just did it because we thought it was cheesy, actually. And I'm like, nobody's doing that. And they're like, we've been doing it for years. And I'm like, why the fuck isn't everybody doing this shit? Like, if you're in a band and you want people to hear what you're about, why wouldn't you put it out there? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you might get a couple hits on this podcast. Yeah, and obviously your friends that know me from the podcast, they're gonna. I mean, we've got people watching right now. People, liking the stuff in chatting and stuff like that, and you get more views as it goes. The people that stumble onto this stuff, man, have to hear this shit because that's the coolest shit, man. It's so simple to do these little things, but it's the extra stuff. It's the making the flyers, the handbills. You know what I mean? Like that's something that I tell people all the time is that there's so many shows going on. If your band's not playing the damn show, it doesn't mean, you know what I mean? Like even if you can't be there for the whole damn show, go at the end and hand your flyers out just to show that you're there for the love, right? The respect. You know what I mean? And to have to have this one email that you can send to people and go, hey, we got a show with you guys. If you need anything else, you drop them the email. You got all that shit in there for them, a logo, a picture, a video, whatever they need for it. Dude, if I was doing shows like I was back in the day at Lee's and all that other shit, and I saw that video and had you guys booked, that would be a promo thing for me to play. I would take a snippet of that video and slap it in there and be like, Boor's in town. Come see this shit. They're going to throw down. And you know what I mean? Like I'd go full on Jesse the Body Ventura on that shit. You know what I mean? Come on, brother. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
In this day and age, everybody goes, people will see you before they hear you.
Yeah.
Because everyone is on their phone. Everyone is, you see things before you listen to them.
Yeah.
So I think to me, it's always since the first bands I liked. I bought my first Iron Maiden album on the visual.
Yeah.
So to me, it's always been important to, I think, for any band to have a logo, a visual that's striking, because people are going to grab that before they start listening to you.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing you need to communicate as a band. And I would even say that when you associate the visual to your music, right away, in my opinion, you sound way more professional and more like you mean business, because there's not just one of the six sense, but two of them at least.
Right.
The visual and the audio. So
yeah,
it's very important to me that any band, doesn't matter how big or small you are, you need to think about how you're gonna get people to see you first.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, man. It's been evolving, as I've been doing this podcast even and talking to people, how like people are putting out EPs because they're, people are taking in these small doses, hey man, I got 3 to 5 songs and I just want to dump them out when they got 15 songs written and they don't want to put them on a full album and they feel like we're releasing too much at one time. So then people are starting to trickle. So they'll do a video, say they write a whole album. They'll do one video, every other month until the whole album's out. Which I think is fucking brilliant these days because, again, the visual is such a stunning, captivating thing that if you've got, man, you could have horror shit just flashing in and out and just weirdness, And dude, what I loved at the end of this video that you guys did is the that shit with the face, just you know what I mean? That shit's dope. Now, if you had just, horror shit flashing in and out, and it popped in with just that periodically hitting on the chorus. Even that is cool as shit. You know what I mean? Just enough to like, what am I watching here? And then all of a sudden lyrics come in and punch you in the face. Whoa, what's going on? That's cool shit, man. I really, really dig that. And people taking, making the effort to do it, to me, it does show professionalism, man. It really shows like you want to do more with it. And if you're trickling it out to people, you're staying fresh in people's mind if you can continue that rotation of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me ask you this. When it comes to being creative, man, how do you guys continue to keep yourselves creative?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
It's usually, we get to practice and one has an idea and usually it's John with a cool riff and we just jam on it. And then everybody, that's what I really like in that band. Like everybody seems to be contributing for not only the music creation process, but even like the other day at practice, we were talking about what other things we could do for shows and just trying to throw ideas here and there on what kind of footage or image we could project behind us while we play, or what kind of visual effect just by some specific light on each side of the stage or whatever. So we always, it seems that everybody always have an idea of how to make this not just a concert but a show, like something visual and to listen to, you know. And we're not quite there yet where we have all the props and all of that. Right now we're just talking. But what I'm saying is everybody seems to have a lot of ideas for all that stuff together, and we seem to be very much in tune in each other to like all go the same direction. So for me personally, I don't feel like I even have to make any effort to be creative, because it's almost like we stimulate each other's creativity to get it going.
Now let me ask you this though, Vince, like outside of just the band aspect, what do you personally how do you keep yourself productive and creative throughout anything? Because I know you're creative in the painting stuff that you do, and you know you like to express yourself quite a bit, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know, when you're hitting the funk, what steps do you do to keep yourself creative?
Well, sometimes I eat a snack. I'm not always creative. First of all. I mean, I do graphic designs and commission painting for a living. So sometimes, you know, it's not. I mean, you have to be creative, but when you get a customer that say, "Hey, I want this and that for my album artwork or for my business logo, whatever," you just, I don't know, when people tell you what they want, it can tickles your brain and you start going and just adding your own flair to it. And then you know, as a professional graphic designer, you just show people where this idea I had and that idea, and you it kind of stimulate your creative process because there's a demand to which you have to often present an offer for it. Offer
well, you know, you see, you have a lot of, you flex that creative muscle all the time, you know, and I'm sure that it, you know, it helps musically, that like, again, that puzzle that I was talking about, you know, like you're able to take that problem solving and that creative, you know, for someone to drop, like dropping a color in a blank glass of water, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're able to go, "Hey, Vince, I got this idea," bloop, and they drop it in there, and you're like, "Okay, well, let me see what I can do with it." And you're mixing it up. You know what I mean? I feel like you flex those creative muscles quite a bit. So
I think it's kind of like you know, an athlete who always has to practice to be good at the sport he's gonna do. You know, the more you try to stimulate it, the more you know it's gonna. You don't get creative just like that. I'm guessing, you know, I don't know. It's maybe some people do. I don't know, but the more you work on it, and the easier it gets, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, if I wasn't playing music at all, and then one day I get in a band, I'd probably be less creative to put a song together than being used to do this and have all the mechanics and how we make this sound better and all of this, or like I said, doing graphic design or painting miniatures for people, and they tell me, "Hey, I want this kind of effect or whatever," and you just train yourself to do this on almost every day, because that's your job, you know. And it just keeps you going.
How about you fellas? Like, how do you guys keep yourselves creative? How do you keep moving?
So for me, for the music part, it's always about like unspoken stuff, which I'm kind of into. It's more so like you're listening intently on like what they're playing, and it's almost like a language that you don't speak, which I've always been a fan of, where you don't have to like say like, "Hey, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this now." It's more so of like a feeling that you're picking up on, and where do you think they want to go with it. And so I moved here 5 or 6 years ago now from California, and I was in a band back home there, and we
fucking real sick band.
We were like big fans of like Sleep and all those kind of bands, where we used to write songs that were like 45 minutes to an hour long, and like we never spoke about like, let's do this for 7 parts and then we'll go into this part. It was always just like we were just watching each other, and I spent a lot of time just like watching what the bass and what the guitar players were doing, even with their feet. Like I used to just watch like where they were on their pedals and stuff, and that would kind of dictate to me like where I was going to go with the song or like what I wanted to do. So it's a lot of like watching like even their body language.
All right, dude, you're my ADHD is going absolutely off the charts right now. I don't normally drink caffeine, and I'm fucking just bouncing off the walls right now because this is something that I've tried to explain to people that don't know anything about music or being in this flow state that I talk about quite a bit. And this is the absolute pinnacle of what musicians try to attain and what they try to aspire to do in the collective of a group. Okay, so say a guy comes in with a riff. Now this is for people who don't know anything about music. So one of these guys comes in with a riff, right? And that riff, for me as a vocalist, for me to feel that riff, it's got to be played multiple times over and over and over again. And most musicians are like, fuck you, this sucks. Like, I played that riff just because I started it. I don't want to play it 800 times over. But for me as a vocalist, if I was going to write a song, I've got to get into that vibe. And this vibe that he's talking about is to be able to communicate with each person in that room. Now, imagine looking at the backside of somebody's hand, and all you're seeing is the thumb, right? So you're looking at the thumb and the tips of these fingers going up and down a piece of wood, right? And now what he was saying is he's looking at the people's feet on these pedals, okay? He knows and can feel the changes before they even happen. This is the type of shit that he's talking about. This is like extraterrestrial to most people that don't know what music is. You know what I'm saying? This is a telekinetic, this is a kinetic power this is like our superpower that people don't understand. This is the shit that I try to explain to people, man, is that we tap into this flow, man, that we tap into this fucking groove, and all of a sudden it takes over. You know what I mean? That riff, and you just keep playing it, and all of a sudden it just flows into something else, and it goes into this next bar, it goes into the chorus, it goes into this cool shit. And that is the feeling that you were just talking about, dude. That's why it just drove me absolutely nuts, because I had to explain it to him, man, because it's such a powerful fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? It is such a powerful thing, man. Please continue. Please continue.
So yeah, so that's kind of what drew me to even want to play music in the first place, is just because, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the times, like when you're talking to somebody, it's either like they're trying to like feel you out to either like look down on you or like judge you. And like with music and stuff, it's like you don't have to deal with any of the human bullshit. It's just like what sound are you going to make, and then how am I going to react to it?
Yeah.
It was always kind of like intriguing,
dude. I get
rid of
jealous.
everything that's like wrong with humans,
right?
And it just like it's only a sound that you're dealing with. There's no politics.
It's pure, man. It's pure as it gets.
Money. There's no anything.
That goes back to that freedom of art we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Because with art you get that freedom of expression.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with all the usual human BS, like Jay just said.
So that's something that drives you to keep you creatively motivated, is to tap into that shit, man, is to really, man, that is as pure as it gets, man. That's the drug of playing in music right there, man. I could give a shit less about the people in the crowd. As bad as that sounds, the fans are what makes us all do what we do and get up there. And yes, it's amazing to have those people in front of you, especially if they see you organically and they come to the show. But dude, when you're up there and you're in it, there's nothing like it, man. There is absolutely nothing like it. How about you, sir? How do you keep going and keep your creativity flowing?
Well, yeah, just to piggyback off that, it's like I tell these guys or I've told him quite a few times, it's like, I love playing shows and I like the idea of like doing all the band stuff, but it's like I'm like fully satisfied with like our practice sessions like every Saturday where we get in that flow, we just jam and we go through it, and maybe it doesn't become anything or whatever, but like we'll just jam on something for a while, and there's just this like crazy energy going on, and it's like for me that's enough, whereas like before when I was younger it was like I needed to had to have this like validation of like, oh, I need to play music to be seen in this way or whatever. Now it's just like, man, I love this, is so pure and real and good, and like and just everything that they were saying. But as far as like, yeah, creativity, it's like musically I if I find myself like getting into a rut where like I maybe, I don't know, I just don't know what to listen to or whatever, it's like I'll just change it up dramatically. I'll like try to look for something that really is like a palate cleanser that's like nothing like what I'm listening to currently, like even if it's like Bulgarian girl choir, like where they're just singing these like ancient melodies, that are just like so harrowing and haunting. And it's like, that's the thing, is like it still taps into like that kind of dark spooky vibe, but it's just like it's not anything like what I'm listening to. So it's like it'll kind of break me out of this like rut that I'm in. Or like a thing within the last couple of years too is like learning more about jazz. It's been really cool. I didn't realize how punk rock jazz music really like really is, like I was like, fuck, man, jazz is so cool. So,
dude, they were the underground. They were the serious underground, if you think about it. And the technicality and the talent of dude, that shit is so ridiculous. I couldn't even imagine. Those guys ate and slept that groove all the time, dude. They were trying to get into those little smoky heroin-filled clubs, to play that shit with each other. These weird time signatures all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Amazing.
So it's like, like for me, that's like what I'll do musically is like I'll kind of switch it up that way. And then lyrically too, I try to read a lot, and then I have a lot of poetry books and things that by various different authors that and different styles of poetry, whether it's like more like traditional or like kind of like modern 20th century stuff where like none of it makes any sense whatsoever. Like I just will kind of immerse myself in different ways of like putting things together with words, to try and like make myself a better writer. And also too, like giving myself patience where like if I read something that I do not understand, being okay with not understanding it. Like, because I think so much it's like we think like, well, I have to understand this, like whatever it is, like this piece of art. But people will go to museums and stare at paintings for hours, and they just are baffled by it. They don't know why. And so I'm trying to do that with like poetry or with literature too. Is like, why is this striking me? I don't really know what this poet is saying, but for some reason he's pulling at something in me that is so visceral. Yeah, it's like, and it's like, or she, and like, it's just like, so I try to do that and like mix it up, and I'll go to a lot of like book sales where people don't give a shit about poetry books anymore. So it's like I normally find really good shit, for nothing, so it's like everybody's going towards like the new novels and whatever, and I'm just like the only one in the poetry section. So it's like I try to look for that type of stuff to get, find different voices and things, and but yeah, so that's kind of like,
I love it, man. I love it. That's awesome as a vocalist too, man, to get into the poetry, to get into things like that. It's something that I kind of dabbled in at, when I was getting into being a vocalist. I kind of steered away from that. I felt like I rhymed too much. You know what I'm saying? Like I just got into that weird rhythmic thing of it, and I don't know. I don't know. It was kind of weird for me as a kid.
Yeah.
How about you, sir? What do you do to keep yourself creative?
A lot. It's just like, say I work a very, very boring job. I work in a factory. And so I spend a lot of time just thinking about like just music, listening to music, like trying to ingest as much new stuff as possible. And a lot of the time it's that boredom and that kind of, like the complacency that comes with like working like that kind of job I do, that I come up with these riffs or just like ideas for like a vibe for a song, like to try and chase something that feels a certain way. Because it's like a lot of the time I'm not looking for something heavy. I'm just looking for something that would suit like maybe a mood I felt like at work. Because a lot of the time it's just
You got
I'm
do you
trying to
do you have a riff vault? Do you mouth them out to your phone? Do you have anything like that to where you've got little chunks of, oh shit, I gotta pull over in my forklift and just fucking rattle off some riffs to your phone?
it's a bit of it, I don't ever really like put it down in that sort of way where it's like I'm mouthing up to my phone, but a lot of it is just like really trying to encapsulate how I'm feeling about like music, or like about like, I mean, I listen to a lot of like kind of like, you know, like Mark, I like a lot of philosophical kind of poetic things, and I try to interpret these feelings into the language of music, and try to get that feeling I feel when like I have this sort of like breakthrough with something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, that's rad. That would be I'd be all over the place, man. And that's got to
really
be
what it is.
that's got to be a vocalist thing too, man. Because I was lucky enough to jam with guys that I would be able to mouth out guitar riffs to, and they'd be like, "You mean like this?" You know, and they'd play it out, and I'd, yeah, that's it, that's the one. You know, that's my favorite style guitar player that's gonna listen to my fucking grunts while I'm trying to, you know, you know. That type of
I
shit.
totally I hear it. It's just really trying to like put like the human experience into music
Yeah.
is what I really want to do a lot of the time. It's like, and that's like the thing with this band that's really been the most like kind of like freeing musically, is that I can bring in my ideas. Because a lot of the bands I was like in before, it was more I had to follow somebody else's vision.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's just like I can just bring like how I like, it's like it's just the sonic way of feeling
Yeah.
into the band.
It seems like you guys have you know, your egos in check when it comes to that. And I know as I've, you know, interviewed a lot of bands, you know, it seems like some of the newer bands or younger bands and guys getting together, or older guys that have played in other bands are getting together nowadays, and they're checking their egos at the door, and they're like, hey, this isn't all about competition, which I've always thought, you know, some healthy competition is okay. You know what I mean? As long as you're not stepping on each other's, you know, ideas and really, you know, stuffing them back in the vault, where, you know, having cool artwork or somebody taking a picture or doing something cool, and God, man, your ideas as a creative person. I mean, that's, you know, we're really opening up as, you know, not a lot of people, and I don't think women in general or guys in general even realize how vulnerable other dudes make themselves when they're in a band, because you're really giving a part of yourself when it comes to, you know, writing music and making riffs, and you're pulling those out of places, and sometimes they have some serious emotions attached to them, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy when you, I know as a vocalist and as somebody who writes lyrics, and you're trying to connect with everybody, and then you don't really show anybody, and then all of a sudden, you know, the riffs come out, and all of a sudden you're like, look, you're going through it, and I don't know about you, but you know, when I was looking through my lyrics, I always tried to find the ones that fit that, again, that vibe, that feeling that you're trying to articulate through, you know, basically how I always said it was like being a projector, like one of those old school projectors where the band is filtering the film through you, and you've got to be able to write this story to be able to project it on the wall for people to understand it more. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I looked at it. And I know it's difficult, you know, and to have all these abilities to say, hey man, you know, your ideas are great, and the support and fucking, you know, pushing them forward, man. It's that in itself will keep things creative, you know?
Yeah.
How about you, Mr. Adam? How do you keep yourself
Well, Greg, it's funny you ask. No, but honestly, creativity is something I've kind of been struggling with recently. A lot of it has to do with I also have ADHD, and so for creativity, I kind of rely on the getting in a room with these guys and things come naturally from that. So I guess what I'm trying to do is, I used to read a lot in high school, and then with the ADHD and the smartphones and shit, it's really devolved into I have a hard time focusing on a lot of things. So trying to get back to reading more often. I need to start writing again. And one thing I noticed, and John and I were kind of talking about this at one of the last Boor practices, is just even how I listen to music. I switched over I wanted to get away from Spotify, so I switched to a new service. And the reason I always stuck with Spotify is because I'd used them for so long, it knew what I wanted to listen to. So I'd never had to think about it.
Right.
So when I switched over to this new service and everything is brand new, doesn't know what I want to listen to. And I'm like, what do I want to listen to?
Yeah.
And then also trying to get back in the habit of listening to full albums instead of just these mixes of a song here or a song there, or just listening to albums the way they were intended, I guess. So I guess as far as staying creative, I'm trying to get back into that rut, I guess, so to speak.
Yeah. That's a tough one, man. And guys like us who are, squirrel, you know what I mean? You're looking every which way. You could probably understand. I have 3 screens in front of me. So it's really difficult. I'm supposed to be looking straight ahead. Now, the biggest screen is to my left, so this is where I want to look. So I'm looking this way when I want to look at you guys because I can see all of you in this one screen. But the one in front of me is really tiny, but it's got flashy things and shit moving every which way. So I want to poke at it and like move things around and shit, I caught myself. I'm listening. I can hear the conversation, but I caught myself over here. I clicked Facebook and I started scrolling. And you'll be able to see when you look back at the video when I do it, because I catch myself and I go, oh shit. And I go back to this visual right here instead of the shit that's over here. So I totally understand what you're saying. And I don't play music anymore, but that is one of those things that I used to do as well. It was like one of those times where I find myself breaking my focus up into like increments of 30 to 45 minutes, to where I try, if I'm going to do something and I know I have to get it done. Like today, I realized that I fell out of my routine because I took 2 weeks off from the podcast. And normally I'm 2 weeks in advance. So I would already have the podcast flyer that I'm going to release tomorrow morning. I would have all of the videos ready to go, whether it be the now playing or if I'm using somebody else's video to put it all together for production wise. But that's the thing, is I try to be productive in little spurts because I know that I can't pay attention that fucking long. And you get a fucking phone in my hand and forget about it. I'm already on Instagram, Facebook, shut it all down. I've looked at YouTube, shut it all down. And now I'm looking at naked women. And that's just how it is. If I'm looking up any actress, my Google should just say naked after every single one of them. I don't care who it is, what it is. If I see a chick on Instagram, I'm like, she's naked, and I know she's naked. Here we go, naked. Yep, there she is. OnlyFans. Look, I'm a dirty pervert. What do you want me to do?
I was going to say, I think one of the moments where I realized it had really gotten out of hand with the ADHD is like I can't even play video games. And, like you hit a loading screen. Yeah, John knows. Hit a loading screen. Boom, phone.
Yep.
I just looked at it a minute ago, but again, loading screen. Boom.
Dude,
phone.
Call of Duty.
I'm like,
Call of Duty, the load-in screen, you're ready to go. I got my phone. I'm already on 4 different sites, and I look up, and my dude's jumping out of the fucking thing in the parachute, and there I am. I'm in the game now, and I could focus for a half hour. That's about all I got, and then I start losing myself in the game because I'm running around, and I'm not helping my team. I'm really good, dude. It's called ADHD, motherfucker. It makes me kind of bum out because everybody's like, dude, you got to get on some sort of medication, and you know what it is? Like, these days, everybody's on some sort of medication. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what?
It's not COD, it's ADHD.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
agree with that.
Or COPD or HIV or fucking gonorrhea PD, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something.
Like, all through high school, I was on like different like ADHD medications to try and meter me out, and it's just like they all like do something to you that you don't want to happen. Like either it's like you're so emotional you feel like you're gonna cry, or your
Dude.
dad looking at you weird, or you're just like, I feel like I am a zombie.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what's funny is I've tried one mood stabilizer. I tried it one time, and I was like, you know, I'm not opposed to talking to somebody if I got issues. You know, I'm a baby. I'm a guy who will cry. If I'm crying, you're lucky. If I'm not crying, I'm probably gonna punch you. That's what's usually what happens with me. I'm like, man, why'd you do that to me, man? You know what I mean? You know, I'm crying and shit. I love you, dude. You know what I mean? All that shit. But it's like if I'm not, you probably should be worried. You know what I'm saying? But I tried to do this one time, right? And they say, hey, you could get suicidal. You could get this. I got really jittery. Like everything was like kind of, you know, like these little flashies, dude. And then I would get really angry really fast. It was like my anger would just shoot through the roof. And then I would be like, this is scary. You know what I mean? And then trying to get off the shit after you get on it. You know what I mean? That was even crazy. I was like, all right, so I know I'm fucked up, right? So then I was like, I'm just going to deal with it, you know? And I got into the writing and then music. And you know, you it's like I use music as a crutch to not want to go out and hurt people, dude. Honestly, is really what it was. And you know, I mean, here, let me ask you this. What venues would you guys like to play in 2026?
I'd like to play the Amsterdam.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was just going to say the Amsterdam. That would be
a very obtainable goal too, by the way. And they have been opening up their venue to a lot more local bands, man. So you have a great opportunity to do it. And I would suggest jumping on it as soon as possible because there's a lot of great local bands that have been playing there as of late, man, and it's fantastic. I can't thank them enough because St. Paul needs a great club, and Amsterdam's a fantastic club, but it's like anything downtown. It sucks to park around there, but what a fantastic club, man, Amsterdam for sure. Is there any other ones that you guys are thinking that you want to shoot for? I know I want to put this one back up on the screen too, though, because I pulled it over here, but this is your guys' next show, which is next weekend. Plague of Stars, Living Through Ghosts, Boor, Thundergoat, Red Vinter, Hey Wilbur, Enigmatis, Sweetland. That's, again, next Saturday, the 21st at Eagles 34, 2705 East 25th Street, Minneapolis. Sponsored by the Shred Den. Fantastic gig and venue. But is there any venues any other ones you guys want to play in 2026?
Pretty much anywhere we can. Like, I think it's like really just like we want to get like our vibe out into the universe.
We've been mostly playing in Brainerd so far.
Yeah.
So now we're trying to branch out and anywhere from Duluth to the cities.
Yeah, to Fargo. Anywhere.
Hey man, I would honestly, if I were you guys, I would write this down first. Les Watkins is the person to talk to about Slam Dakota. You guys should reach out to her ASAP because I know she's like, if she doesn't have that show completely booked for this year, you should try to get on it. You guys would fit well on that bill. You guys are heavy as shit. You have that black metal, death metal vibe plus the doom. All of the bands that I've seen there, you guys would fit really well with. She's a great person to work with. She takes care of people. And it's another place, Sioux Falls, South Dakota at Big's Bar. Fantastic club, dude. Reach out to her. I would do that immediately after you get off this podcast and see if you can get, and you could use my name, tell her I sent you because you guys would fit well on that festival, and it's a great fest. And if you can't get on that fest, try to get her to book you at Biggs because she's doing some great shit over there, man. It's a really good club. She's a bartender there. She's been doing that. I want to say 8 years in a row. I think this is like your 8th or 9th year doing it. So.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you guys haven't tried that Northern Wisconsin Metal Fest over in Superior too, Aaron White is the guy for that one. And
Okay.
again, I can't remember the guy down in St. Peter, but it's that Cryptid Productions are doing that St.
Oh.
Peter Mankato area
Bob.
down there.
Yeah,
Pavlenko, I think.
That's it. That's the
Right.
guy. That's
Right.
the guy.
We-
Yep.
we played with Solerend with him, so we know the guy.
Awesome.
Yeah, he had Solerend playing shows down there before.
Hell yeah. Well, you guys should definitely get on that too.
Yeah.
Let me push these other flyers too. Let me we'll push up this one here at Sampaguita in Atkin, 204 Minnesota Avenue, North Atkin, 41026 Boor, Solerend, Cryptic. Doors at 6 p.m. $10 covered. There's no suggested donation. We're giving them $10 at the door. That's a beautiful cover for 3 awesome bands. What's that? Yeah,
Get
support.
back to the community.
Yeah, man, support it, man. You know, you got to keep these doors open, man. I know you. If this is an all-age place, go buy some Snickers at the bar or something. You know what I'm saying? Buy yourself a Coca-Cola, whatever. This next one is the Riff Ritual at the Red Carpet main stage with Rust Bucket, Raven, and Boor. 5/29/26. Doors are 8:30 p.m. $10. Again, no suggestion. We're paying 10. It's a beautiful cover. 4 beautiful bands, 3 bands. There, 3 bands, beautiful bands. Make sure you go and support these fellas. And you guys are on BANDCAMP, right? That's where you guys are at. That's
Yep, we're on
what's that?
Yeah, we're on BANDCAMP.
Okay, cool. BANDCAMP is the one. This third one is the Riff Ritual again at the James Cullen room, and that's the small room of Yeah Sure Kombucha, correct?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
back.
The-
Show, yeah.
The back room there. Rust
Yeah.
Bucket, Raven, and Boor again. 5/30/26, 6 p.m. $10. No suggestions. We're just doing it. We're just giving them the cash. Here, take my money. We're gonna play some medals. So go check out some medals. These guys are awesome. You can tell that I dig you guys. Not only as people, you guys are heavy as shit, and I appreciate heavy as shit. Anybody watching this podcast, go support these guys. They do cool shit, and you know, who doesn't want to support cool shit? Like you know, all of the bands that you listen to have been local bands at one time. They're trying to do cool shit, and you are the way. You are the bridge to their success. You're the bridge to making them awesomer.
Yeah.
I was so full of shit. Listen to me go. But I appreciate everybody who's tuning in tonight. I thank you guys for joining us on the podcast and taking the time out of your busy weekend. I know it's not always easy to take a Friday, and especially when you're sick, right, Adam?
Yeah, it is what it is. But that's why I'm over here in my own home, just going like, I'm a little sick hermit man. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you were able to do it, man. And again, I appreciate you guys doing it. Everybody, go out and support these cats. We got one more tune we're gonna do here. Aim to Fail, again off their EP, The Dense Drag. That's what it's called, right? The Dense Drag.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It makes me think of taking a big. The Dense Drag. Sorry, that's my dense mind thinking weed all the time. But yeah, man, tell me about Aim to Fail. Sounds like my podcast.
Yeah. So, well, I don't even know where the idea came from specifically, but I just again, through reading or whatever, just came up with this idea of that failing, over and over again, kind of or going through this ego death of realizing you're full of shit and you need to recalibrate things all the time. That going through that is something that's actually, people think, or a lot of times we grow up thinking well, I can't fail at this, or everything's a fear of failure, and so it's kind of in the opposite direction of leaning into failure. That leaning into failure is what not necessarily brings you success, but will at least accustom you to being okay with it, where it's nothing to be afraid of, that failure is, because I see a lot of my job, I work in retail, and it's so many people I work with are just very afraid to be seen for who they really are, or to fail at this one little thing. And it's all like little bullshit petty stuff, you know. And so it's like I think it was just kind of born out of this idea of like being okay to fail, because ultimately it's like, you know, we only have this one life. And so like fail and be okay with it, you know. Like, so it's just kind of like inverting failure as like this good thing instead of like a just always a negative, you know. And so many accomplishments in like, you know, as far as like inventions or technology have been from so much failure, you know, that like failing over and over again to finally get to the next thing. So it's kind of like a double meaning, I guess, that I guess failure can eventually lead to success, but even if it doesn't, that like failure is okay, and that it's not going to you know, like in your pursuits of whatever it is, like it's not going to kill you, you know, that it's
Yeah.
nothing to be afraid of, you know.
Yeah, failure to me is the forge, the fire, the forge
Right.
that hones what shows your character, right? So you get
Yeah.
thrown into the fire and you fail. And I've seen and I've heard musicians, I've heard comedians talk about it. I've heard, again, like you said, inventors, people that are creating things on a regular basis, flexing those muscles on a regular basis, and you know, oh shit, that didn't work, that overheats there, that's this, you know, engineers, people that are really working on things at grand levels, man. And it's crazy that we fall into that I always refer things to as rituals. That's what this thing is, ritually. I use the word on a daily basis because to me it is the ritual that you do every single fucking day. You go to work, you wake up, you live this life. I was explaining jail to people the other day, and what people that haven't gone to jail don't understand is that your life is actually a jail. You know what I'm saying? The freedom is an illusion. Okay.
Yeah.
The freedom is an illusion, you know? So like your repetition, the things that your daily rituals, your daily things that you do, that there's a reason for it. You know what I'm saying? But again, the failing thing is the forge, man, that really fucking, you know, puts us through the ringer, man, to grow that thick skin, to get that fear, to shake it, you know. How many times you guys did you have to get on stage before the fear started to kind of wither away to where you were comfortable enough to get up there?
It does wither away.
Well, I mean, for me, it was like, for like a lot of my life, it was just like being like a Midwestern kind of person. It's just, you kind of have that like inborn fear of putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And like
Sure.
overcoming that was really what like music helped me get over, is that like I can express myself and it's not like a problem. It's
Yeah.
like it's just a piece of who you are.
Yeah.
You don't need to like hide your inner self from people and and just pretend to be a normal person.
Yeah.
You can put yourself out there and people can accept it, or they can just whatever. It's just who you are as a person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know that I'm always nervous before performing, even sometimes before practice, and I know I want to like play something and show my ideas or whatever. I'm kind of nervous, and even more before playing shows. But it when I was younger, I mean, I'm still kind of introverted, but I had a very big fear of getting in front of a crowd for anything, whether it was a school performance or whatever. And being in a band, like when I was in my French band, I was actually trying to sing and play guitar at the same time. I wasn't really good at singing, but it really helped me forcing myself to get in front of a crowd, even if it was 20 people and more. It really helped me kind of not taming that fear, but at least being more okay with it.
Yeah.
Tempering that.
Yeah.
Tempering
tempering.
the fear
That's
and
it.
making it something that
Yeah.
you can accept.
Yeah.
And so I'm always nervous before, you know, performing, whether it's in front of a few people or more. But it really helped me. Music really helped me overcoming that complete, absolute fear of going in front of a crowd.
Yeah. I don't think it ever goes away, man. I never I never shook it for all the years that I did it. I never shook it. I always had some sort of fear, but to me it was like I watch some musicians and I can't be the guy that's sitting in the corner noodling. I'm the caged guy that's going back and forth. And if you're doing better than than I think I'm going to do, that makes me want to be that much better, and it makes me want, I get hungry and I get like, it's almost toxic. My competitive spirit is almost toxic to a point. That's why I've always been like, hey, I can help the band do this. Now I have to step back, or else I become this toxic kind of jerk off. When it came to that, I was very good about keeping my mouth shut about it. Because I would, I know people that are like, my band did way better than yours, and they just run their mouth, or they just say, I don't like that band, or they got some chirping to do, where I never allowed myself to get into the chirping aspect of it, but I was always like, man, get me up there. You know what I mean? Like, let me get up there and do my thing. Like, it never, I never let it consume me to where it was fear. It was always like you're pushing me in a corner now, and now you're gonna see what that does to me. You know what I mean? It was like that. You know what I mean? I'm a fucking badger in a corner, ready to just shred somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because Honey Badger doesn't care. Sorry.
But even then, it's like you have that. It can be like a very contemplative thing. Because I remember, like in a band I was in prior, we played a lot, and then for a while we had like a hiatus, and we came back for like a show finally after like probably like a year of not playing anything. And I remember it was just like I'd lost that feeling of like being
That
able
loving
to, like,
feeling.
Yeah, it was like it's like all of a sudden it was just like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah.
I don't think I can like put myself out there like this anymore. And it caused me to withdraw from music for like a good like 5 years. And I think with this band, it's really helped me be able to like kind of come to terms with like, sometimes you will feel that way, but it's all part of the human experience of putting yourself out there. It is about like
progression.
Like it's about the progression of yourself. Even if you don't necessarily feel the best about what you're doing at the moment, you should put it out there, because if you don't, it's you're stifling yourself.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And that only leads to like kind of like this negative like thought about yourself, where it's like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do this. But it's just that you really need to try and push past that feeling.
It's like the ejaculatory thought of. Here it is though, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get past that one point. It's kind of like a sexual thing, man. You like the one chick says, "Don't worry, it happens to everybody," and now it's in your head. And you're like, "Shit, man, come on, buddy, let's do this." And it's one of those, but you got to work through it. You know what I'm saying? That's just one of those things. You got to work through it. Again, the failure part of it, man. We go back to this song we're trying to get to, dude. Is you can't tell me if one chick tells you you're bad, you're gonna just stop. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, it's never really been like, I've never really had a fear of playing. Like I've always known that like, as long as I'm connected to the band, that I'm gonna be good. If I can feel what they're doing, then I'll be fine. And I always like have like the chip on my shoulder where I want to like prove people wrong in a way, where it's like, oh, like you think that like I can't do it, or like, not saying that I'm better than anybody, or like people are better than me or whatever. Just like it goes back to your competitive thing, where it's like I want to show them what I can do. And also like I just constantly have the chip on my shoulder where deep inside, like I feel like I tell myself a lot, like, you're not good enough, so you need to try harder, try harder.
You know what? And that's the thing about that type of spirit too, man. You know what I mean? That's I love that sentiment right there, man. Because when you surround yourself with cats like that, you know what I'm saying? When you're in a group with guys like that, when you break those little milestones of getting over a blockage of like, I'm trying to work into my creativity again, and you got guys that are cheering you on, literally, like once you hit, they can see it. They feel it in that flow state. Like, man, I could tell you have a block. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, once you clear that freedom, the chi starts flowing again. You know what I mean? And other cats in that vibe can feel that shit. And to have that support in the group, dude, that is the best shit ever, man. I like this guy, dude. Hell yeah, that's fantastic, man. You're on it, dude. Hell yeah, I dig that, man. And that's what bands have to do, man, is to keep that good vibe going, man. And I appreciate you guys, man, putting out the good vibes, man, and the stories that you guys shared, and the you know, the just being who you are, man. That's the coolest part about these stories, man, and connecting with people, man, because it's just these little things that connect into these next little things, and you're meeting all these other people that so many people think we're broken. You know what I'm saying? They look at us and they wouldn't trust us for a minute, right? They wouldn't tell us, hey, you can watch my kid, right? Just by the way our evil shirts and whatever else kind of silly shit we got on, you know what I mean? But then, you know, you meet another cat like yourself, and you got these cheerleaders, you got these support cats that are helping the creativity, you're pushing it out. That's what it's all about, man. I mean, anybody who's young and is looking to get into music, this right here is exactly what it's all about, man. Finding that flow state with good folks that have these great ideas that want to keep pushing you forward to these goals, man. That's what being in a band is all about, man. Keeping that inspiration going, and not only for your own band, but putting it on a shitty podcast like this, and hopefully somebody's seeing it and inspiring other people. Honestly, that's what this is all about, is inspiring other people to do cool shit, man, and to continue this lifestyle that we love so much, man. Even as shorties, to finding cool artwork in a record store and putting it onto our friends and making mixtapes, and you know what I mean, turning every one of your homies onto that next cool band. I mean, that was the essence of my youth, man, is to find that cool shit and to go, dude, did you see this cover art from this dude is the baddest artist out there. And then you see 10 more bands with that dude's artwork, and you know if they went to that dude for their artwork, they're probably a hard as hell band, and you're probably gonna buy that shit. That's the stuff I miss as a kid, man. You know what I mean? But again, with the Spotify stuff these days, man, when you're playing through your tunes, and they give you suggestions. That's the shit I love. I found some R&B, random R&B dude today listening to my shit on random. I'm on lunch break, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Man, this dude's got some soul. I looked that shit up, and I put that right on my playlist. I was like, hell yeah, that's the way to go. I appreciate you guys coming in. I had a lot of caffeine. You could probably tell that. I'm all over the fucking place. But I appreciate you guys, man. I wish you nothing but the best, boys. When you guys release your next stuff, make sure I know about it. I will be throwing your guys' flyers around for these upcoming shows. We're going to play their last tune here, Aim to Fail. This has been Boor, episode 340. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for doing the show. Much love to the Boor fellas. Make sure that you check out, Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective, the Shred Den, and what is the other guy? I'm retarded right now. Narwhal Design Solutions. See, there you go. Okay. Go support those guys. Thank you very much. We're going to play this tune and wheeze out. Thanks, boys. You guys have a fantastic evening.
Yeah, you too, Greg. Thank you.
You bet. Okay. All right, folks. Thank you very much. We're out.
Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness.